Hello, welcome back to our channel. I'm going to be asking or answering even more of the questions that you've been asking me, and I'm really excited to do that. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Rita submits this question. Now, when did you write your first book and how did it come about? Okay, well, that was real journey for me. The very first book published, I believe, was the Trash Talk It's Easy to Be Green first book, the first edition. It began really because of a column that I was writing for that was getting published internationally. And I did that for about 6 or 7 years, not entirely sure the exact, amount of time, but and I was reaching publications like as far away as Africa and south of France. It was a lot of fun to do. The issue that I had though was that it doing a column like that for a topic like that uh, was difficult because there's so much to cover in each topic, each slant. There was so much to say, and you're limited in a column for each publication. This one wants 250, that one wants 700, this one's doing this one's doing that. So you're doing different versions of the same article, and you're trying to the same column that you're releasing that week or that bi-weekly, depending on the publication rate that they were picking it up. And so you're doing different lengths of it to make it easy for them so they don't have to work for anything. And that was the way that I was working that column out. Anyway, so over time, I realized there's just too much to say. I just wasn't covering all the different aspects. And at first I thought, well, that's a good thing. That means I got lots of fodder for more topics, more, articles to release. It was actually when I was working for a fellow named Brian McAndrew in the Boundary region of BC, and he was running a newsletter that was quite popular for that particular region. It covered the whole entire region, all these different cities and communities within that region, and was published, shoot, I think monthly, or I think it was monthly. Anyway, I began working for him as a staff writer, and he really encouraged me as a writer to really come up with ways of interviewing people differently and things like that. Anyway, it was him who designed our very first website for being an author, and he also designed our very first cover for the very first edition of Trash Talk. And you can still buy that at first edition on Amazon through other people. We don't get anything for it. It's people selling their used or their collector item. That kind of thing is still going on Amazon, but you can find it there as a first edition. Anyway, Dave, my husband, he proofread and formatted the first book prior to publication. And so there was a whole bunch of people involved in getting that out. It wasn't just me. It was, some colleagues and my husband, and then all the promotions afterwards, which was a whole nother learning curve for me as a newly published author. So now today, though, it's evolved into like a 2-book series. The idea of the column started out when I realized that, there was a need to educate people, to show them that waste is a valuable resource, and showing them that, they can really benefit their communities, and they personally can benefit just by taking some small actions, some positive steps toward being more sustainable and more conscious and more proactive in their daily life. So we talked about like how recycling works. We talked about different aspects of that item: reuse, rent, repurpose, refuse, reconsider, a whole bunch of different R's. And then we offered a bunch of resources, and we shared some stats like when every time you recycle so many bottles, it saves this much amount of energy, those kinds of stats, to sort of encourage people along the way, to show them that, there is a measurable impact for our actions. And so that particular column was really important to me, and the book continues to be important to me, the book series, because for me it's a passion of mine. I live green. I'm constantly trying to improve what we're doing in our business and in our home life and our daily activities, and how we market and where we market and who we promote and who we work with, and as a consumer, as a business, everything. I try to really consider that, and have a proactive stance on that in my everyday life. And so, of course, it's my baby, it's true to my heart. So I love that Rita asked this question about our very first book, which is now a two-book series, Trash Talk, It's Easy to Be Green. You can find it on Amazon, everywhere, of course, right? Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Rita, for that awesome question. And yeah, we're going to be back with a whole bunch more videos for you. So keep on dropping by. We're going to be releasing at least one every single week.